My financial journey or my financial picture today is a sum of all the financial mistakes that I had made. I have done everything which I should not have done. Direct stock investing was a mistake. Buying PE funds was a big mistake. Buying under construction real estate was a big mistake. In a nutshell, if you ask me, my financial life was a mess. How stupid I would have been. Despite that, I could retire with a corpus of 7 crores. As Professor Pattabhi Raman says, I am a product of my financial mistakes. This is a FIRN story and not a FIRE story. So, financial independence and retired normally. I retired at the age of 61. I'm now 65. It was a long 37-year journey in the corporate world. Made a lot of financial mistakes on the way. And despite that, I could retire with a corpus of 7 crores. But at the same time, I didn't know what to do with my life. I never played golf, never went to a club. All I did was I worked all my life for 37 years. The question was, what am I going to do? Financially, there's no salary coming in at the end of the month. So that's going to be a big change. So how will I, sustain myself? How will I sustain my family? What will I do going forward? So these were all the questions that I was thinking about. But I pretty much made up my mind that March 31st was when I would quit. I had an opportunity to make a lot of money in Hughes Software, which went IPO when I was there. We were given stocks as employees. As soon as I got the stocks, I sold them off and decided to enjoy the money. So just to tell you how ignorant I was, when I encashed my stocks, I must have made about 7.5 lakhs. If I had held on to it, I could have probably got something like 40 lakhs. So that was how much of money I lost. The stock markets were booming between the period 2003 to 2008. So I invested in PMS, and in 2007, I remember looking at my portfolio, which was close to 10 lakhs at that point of time. I told the company where I'd invested, I said, this is very good. I mean, a 2 lakh investment has grown to 10 lakhs. So let's now sell and make money. He said, no, don't do that. It's a bad idea. It's going to go even further. And 2008 happens, and there's almost a 60% drop in the portfolio. So the middle years, if you put it that way, was again a period of major financial mistakes because I was learning along the way. I went to my bank relationship manager and he said, the magic pot is here. So this product has been, we have several investment opportunities for you. We have an art fund, we have a real estate fund, we have a cinema fund. It'll make a lot of wealth for you. Terrible decision because I think I didn't make money in any of those products. And in one product, I lost my complete principal. And in all the products, I just about recovered my investment. So these were all learnings, So I think, while I can laugh in hindsight, these were not smart at all. And for somebody who was an MBA, with those days almost more than 2 decades of experience, in hindsight, these were not smart things to do. So it clearly shows that I have really behaved most irresponsibly, not only for myself, but for putting my family at risk. And that clearly was, a turning point. Because the stock market was not doing well, after 2008 and my experience, so we said real estate is the next big pot of gold. And that's when I invested in 2 flats in 2012, both under construction. And frankly, that was the second mistake that I made. So while one project worked out very well, and the second one went into all kinds of delays and it didn't work out at all. In 2019 was when I went to a proper wealth manager, and my corpus was 2.5 crores, which is not great for somebody. I think with my potential and my earnings, I could have probably made far more if I had invested smartly, been a little smart about my money. The problems didn't end then. So when I gave it to a wealth manager, again, they took some decisions on investing in mutual funds. They had their own model. So they invested in 9 mutual funds for about 2 crores, and 50 lakhs went into a debt product. 2020 was when COVID struck. It was a disaster. The money that I invested in came down by almost 60 lakhs. I was down to 1.4 crores. The 50 lakhs debt that I had. So I said, can I get that? And I was horrified. He said, no, that's zero right now. I said, how can it be zero? And that's when I realized that it's a fixed period. I mean, it matures after 3 years. So there's no liquidity. So the concept of liquidity in debt hit me. So these were great periods of learning. In a nutshell, if you ask me, my financial life was a mess. That's when I took a decision to take charge of my financial life. I said, I've relied on too many people, taken too much advice. Now I will do everything myself. And even if I make a mistake, it's my mistake. And I will be responsible for my decisions. First is I will learn what are different products, what is investing all about, understanding, goal planning, creating a roadmap. So all of those things was what I was determined I will learn and apply and take charge of my own finances. I said I will completely reorganizing this 1.4. So I chose my own set of equity stocks, which was modeled on the famous consistent compounders portfolio. So I decided to limit my portfolio to 15 stocks, diversify across sectors, and make sure that not more than 10% is in any one company. So I applied these ground rules and invested a crore. And remainder was in, some of the equity funds was already there, which I didn't touch. And some I, withdrew from to invest in this equity portfolio. In just 6 months, one is, of course, the market went up by 60%. And that portfolio, which included mutual funds, direct equity, and this 50 lakh, debt, was worth about 4 crores. That's when I called my son, sent him a screenshot, and I said, if things go like this, I'm going to retire next year. And we are on track. From there was no looking back. Beginning of the last quarter century of my life, where I was very clear that I'm not going to be dependent on anybody, not going to make the same mistakes again, going to secure my family and myself at all costs. And that's how I created this financial plan, which was durable, resilient. So building resilience was one of the major learnings which turned things around. I had made up my mind that I have to retire. So that process started actively in 2021. That's when I realized that now, how do I, plan my finances for the next 25 years? I was 60, so I said till 85 if I live, then what's the roadmap? So I created a 7-year rolling return plan. Plan was till 2030 is assured returns products mostly, and 30 to 35 was a combination of hybrid funds, which was multi-asset and balanced advantage. So these were low volatility, low risk products, and over a 5-year period, the data showed that there were always positive returns. May not be great returns, but positive returns. So that's how, and the rest was a solid equity portfolio, and my direct equity, which I had doubled by then. These were the 3 components, if I look at. So there was debt, there was a middle portfolio comprising of multi-asset and balanced advantage or hybrid funds, and then there was pure equity mutual funds. So when I did this planning, I looked at my requirements and I was not happy with 15 lakhs. I said I want 25 lakhs, and I could create a corpus which was 30 times that. Even today it is that. So which was pretty safe. So I knew that my cash flow is assured because of my bucket strategy, if you will call it that. The current 25 lakhs, if you go by the rule of 72, will double. If you take 6% inflation, will double in 12 years. So what I require today, if I have to extrapolate it to 2035, I require 50 lakhs. So which is fine. That's what if I make 5 crores in 2035. So if it does, that last 10 years is 50 lakhs a year. Other things that one needs to do, which you should be upfront about. One is, of course, I'm assuming you have a house to live in. And I have my own house. The other is, of course, a car, which is not very important these days because Uber and Rapido is always available. So there's no extra expenses over and above both you and your spouse expenses. In 2022, when I left, I was really looking at academics as an option again because I always had it at the back of my mind. But I had a major health event. My family was very clear. They said, you're not going to work anymore. Enough. So you have worked enough. Now, even if we have to take care of you, but you are not going to work. And that was, cast in stone. Health insurance is a big part of this business. So when you're doing financial planning, so make sure that you have adequate health insurance. And one of the things about health insurance is you cannot get it after 60. Build the health buffer into this because health can quickly erode all your wealth. So if you take care of that, I think you're very good. This plan is very resilient, very robust, will work. Money is not the purpose. Money is a vehicle which will help you live your life. And you have to be very clear about that. Money is not helping you fulfill your dreams, your aspirations, making you happy. Then there's no point in having that money. So that's the first thing. And it's a volatile world. So that's where I think that's the other learning that has come, that nobody talked of gold and silver in 2020, 21. I mean, we always had gold at home. I mean, every Indian family has gold at home, but you never think about it as an investment. So if I look at my brief snapshot of my portfolio, I have about 10% in the safe cash flow bucket, which is up to 2030. Another 25% in direct equity and 65% in mutual funds. Why I feel very comfortable is about 60% of my equity is in large caps, about 30% in mid caps and 10% in small caps. And that's a very stable, low volatility mix. So as long as you're clear about your strategy, it's a little complex, I agree, but because I had learned it the hard way, and I had a great understanding of how to manage money, all the mistakes that I made, which I applied. So it worked out fantastically well. And that's why I feel very confident that, even if something happens to me, my wife wouldn't worry. My children wouldn't have to worry. My family is taken care of. All responsibilities are taken care of. It's a great place to be. This is when you start thinking about, okay, now how do we enjoy life? What is the purpose of this? And what do you want to do with the rest of your life? That's when, we made a plan. And this is something where, I worked with my wife. We looked at travel as a serious something we should consider. We both realized that we enjoy travel. We love meeting people, looking at new places, understanding cultures. So the plan was laid out that we should go to all the continents. Based on this, again, the budget roadmap was evolved. We looked at, how do we schedule this travel. And the other thing that helped was we did group travel, and we clearly felt very comfortable in that because security and then things were taken care of, and you met a lot of other like-minded people. So one was the fun of traveling, the other was the fun of meeting people. That's how we went on this journey from 2023 to now. We have already kind of met 75% of our targets. I mean, I have covered, I would say, a little more because I travel during work, but I'm sure my wife will make up for it. She's just 8 countries short of me. So, and by end of this year, I would have gone to all the continents. My wife would probably not have gone to North America, but covered all the other continents. So that's the way, this journey is panning out. The other thing we do is we spend a lot of time with family. I mean, when I was working, I hardly, attended major life events, family events. So now we make it a point. I mean, it's very important for us to meet people. I meet my siblings almost every week. We celebrate all birthdays, anniversaries, everything. So it's a full life. So I think it's not just time. You have the time now, and you have the health, and you have the money. So now, how will you make it fulfilling? As the saying goes, it's not adding years to your life, but adding life to your years. I did everything wrong in life till pretty late in life. I mean, I did all the mistakes that I could possibly have made. I would have lost it very easily. But in spite of that, I think you can take charge of your life anytime. Nothing is irretrievable. So don't ever, lose hope. Believe in yourself. Take responsibility for your life. My journey got delayed, but it didn't get derailed. So I'm very happy saying, "Der aaye par durust." I got everything in life. This gentleman, Professor Pattabhi Raman, says, I'm a product of my financial mistakes.